Hi, my name is Ashley Forsyth, and I am the owner of Health and Fitness Meals and Your Way Nutrition here in Salt Lake City. I love having on other female entrepreneurs to talk about business, and this week it's my pleasure to get to speak with Talesha Carter. How are you doing, Talesha?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming on with me today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so looking forward to just chatting and hanging out.
Thank you. So Talesha here, she is the owner of Foster Vitality, and that's like an emotional healing business. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. Okay, so I started Foster Vitality 4 years ago, and it really just came about after my own healing work that I needed to do. I had a big trauma in my life and was looking for something that could help me. My degree is in social work, and so I've already was familiar with the helping professions and how to seek out counseling and things that way, but counseling never felt like a good fit for me and my trauma. And so through my own research and wonderful good people in my life, I entered into the world of energy healing and never looked back from there. And once I felt that own change for myself, it had to be shared with other people, and Foster Vitality grew from there.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited to hear people pursuing business, not just for the sake of pursuing business, but necessarily becoming so passionate about something that they want to share it with others. And I think that's where a really good business stems from, is a real desire and passion that you have for yourself, for wanting to help others.
Yeah.
So you're also a motivational speaker and educator, and you stick with your topics: energy healing, and soul truths.
Yes.
And I just want to let everybody know, me and Talesha met each other while you were being a speaker at the event. So that was fun. It was the Breakout Women Summit, and it was put on here in Salt Lake, and it was basically just like a women's empowerment conference. And there were a number of awesome speakers. I got to speak. I got to be on a panel, and that's how we got acquainted with each other. So yeah, there are lots of really great women and connections there. I totally recommend anybody out there going to similar type of events. It's just good vibe, good company.
It is. It's so nice to just hang out with other women and women who are business owners and wanting to change the world, because sometimes it can feel lonely when you work for yourself and not having that community always around you.
That is so great. So as another thing about Talesha that I was immediately impressed by is she did not even know this existed, but she came in and had your sash and you had your crown, and you are Miss Female Entrepreneur Utah of 2018, correct?
Yes, well, even USA.
Oh, so you wanted for all of USA. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's so great. I don't know. I knew you competed there. For some reason, it didn't click to me that you were the winner. So this is really cool. It's like a female pageant, but it's for women in business specifically. Can you tell us a little bit about the pageant and how you presented your business model and won?
Yes, it was incredible. It was a fun experience. So the pageant was just all about showcasing yourself as a professional businesswoman and how to grow a business and how to share that message with other women who are seeking to grow a business. And so I was challenged to, create a sales funnel, to create a marketing message, to create my platform on how I wanted to show up in this world of female entrepreneurship and help make a difference. And so we were able to compete in those different categories and just showcase our business and the way that we wanted to grow and the way that we wanted to show up to help not only our business, but also our community. Because really, as a business owner, that's what you're doing. You're trying to help your community or a group of people solve a problem. And so we were able to showcase those different things throughout the pageant and compete, and our national pageant was in LA, and so we got to compete in front of judges who were able to see our growth and the things that we were doing in our business.
That's exciting. I mean, nothing excites me more than meeting other female entrepreneurs, obviously. But when you told me about that, I was like, I need to know where this is. I want to do it. I've interviewed so many women. I think I've got at least 20 interviews under my pocket right now, and I bet you half of them would love to compete in this. So
Yes.
you should give me some information for that, and I'll share that with everybody, and that'd just be a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so we covered how we knew each other, why you met, and why your motivation to me. Can you tell me a little bit more about, you kind of started to break through on it, but how you got involved specifically in this line of work? And you told us what your education was in, but tell us a little bit more about what sparked your interest and what other types of learning that got you to where you are.
Yes. Okay. So for part of it, like I said, I had a big trauma in my life. I lost my grandmother very suddenly. Wasn't expecting her to pass, and I was the one who found her. And that was extremely challenging for me. One, because she's my grandma and I love her, but two, because we lived with her and we got to grow and have that closeness in our relationship through being with each other every single day. And so when I found her and she was gone, my world just flipped upside down. And because of that, I just felt lost. I felt like I was just a zombie walking around. And a year after dealing with all of that and still having extreme panic attacks, anxiety, depression, I knew things had to change. Not necessarily for me, but for my kids, because I could recognize that my kids were not getting the best mom that they deserved. And nor was I showing up how I wanted to because I felt so dead inside. And after an intense summer of emotional healing work, I went to a conference, and in it, they were talking about different techniques and energy healing. And again, I'm a newbie. I had no idea that you could actually like learn techniques about how to do this. I thought it was just special people that had the gift to help other people to heal. And they were telling me that, you know, you could go learn these different techniques to help other people. And from that minute on, I went home from the conference. I signed up for my first class. And so my first modality of training was in Reiki. And that was a 6 month training. And I have my Reiki master in energy healing. And so that helps me to be able to know all about energy, right? How to move it, how to shift it, how to read it, all of those things. And then from there, I just took a bunch of other classes wherever I could learn. I learned. I went to many different conventions and took classes from people online and really just dived in to that skill about how to do it. And then from there, I saw the benefit that it had on me, even learning those different techniques and skills. And I always say it was by motivation of God and my husband that just kind of shifted me into creating this business for it.
That's awesome. So initially, everything was just self-seeking. You just wanted to learn everything to be the best version of you and for you and your family. And you, at this point, you had no idea that this would become a livelihood for you, a company.
No, I had no idea. In fact, like looking back at that time, I would laugh. Like, you know, I never had any dream of having my own business or being self-employed. I always loved this working for someone else, not having the pressure of any of it, but I wouldn't change it for anything now. Being my own company and being able to show up and help women every single day is the most fulfilling thing I could ever do with my time.
Oh, that's great. That's so wonderful. So tell us about when you started to realize that this could be a business for yourself.
Yeah, so part of the trainings, you know, they encouraged you to get your practice hours in. And so in those practice hours, I really grew to love the people that I worked with. Their stories really touched me, and their ability to be vulnerable and brave and move move out of the negative energy that they were living in and start to step into a bigger space. That's really what helped me find courage to know that if I could help these women that I was just practicing on, I could help other women who needed me. Right? And so I got a little bit brave and I started posting about it and just saying, you know, I offer this skill. If anyone wants to come try it, you can do it. And I was like the very beginning newbie business owner. I'm sure many of you have been here, but I was your $25 an hour service offerer. And from there, I started gaining that confidence and I started being able to help women. And then I valued myself as a business owner. And it got to that point of, okay, do I value my time and my trade and my skill? Or do I value just giving away everything that I've learned? And so from there, I had to decide, okay, is this going to be a legit business where I am stepping into my true self? Or is this just going to be a hobby where I'm helping people on the side? And for me, I go big or go home. There's no in between. And so for me, it was 100% yes. And I'm a very prayerful person as well. And so I prayed about it. And that answer was yes, you start this business, you grow it, and you help those people who need you.
That's awesome. I'm so happy that you brought up what you were charging people and then learning because I literally, I post in between my features, I post inspirational like quotes and things for like business women or independent women. And the one I was looking at today reminded me exactly of it, so I had to pull it up. It says, once you finally own your worth, you'll start telling people where the door is when they ask for discounts.
Yep.
So many people undervalue their service that they're offering. And it has to, because in owning a business, there are lots of overhead expenses. There's a lot of time that you put into the client before they're even your client, you know, and marketing and advertising. And if you don't charge enough for you to walk away with enough for it to be worth your time, you know, you're just undervaluing yourself. So that's so excited that you brought that up. All right, so I want to talk with you about the Soulfully You healing modality. Is that right? It is?
Yes.
Okay, so you created this. So this is your own branding, the Soulfully You healing modality. And this isn't something you learned, this is something you created. Can you explain this and then it maybe explain to people a little bit more about what energy healing is, so that they can understand what your service is, what your business model is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Soulfully You came about because I noticed that there were some gaps when working with clients. I recognized that they would come over for a session with me, and then I'd send them on their way. And oftentimes I would see them every couple of months. But in that time between seeing them, they would go back into their old cycles or their old habits. And I wanted to find a way that would help me reach them through those cycles and still have it be impactful for them, but also for me as a business owner and my time that I was offering to them. Because, you know, when a person is interested, you just want to give them all the details right away. But when you're seeking the help, your brain cannot handle all the information at once. You have to take it in steps. And so from there, I really started that creative process. Okay, how can I help my client? What do I know? What skills does Talesha Carter possess that no one else has that I can show up and help the people that are ready to receive healing help? And so that's kind of the foundation of where Soulfully You came from. And remember, I already learned Reiki and all these other healing techniques. And so I kind of combined what I loved the most with every single one of those techniques and then followed my own path. What made me happy? What helps me? Because we're our own best clients. We show up and help people through our own story and our own experiences. So what did I know? I know that I love to help people. I know that I love to connect to their soul. I know that I love them to be themselves. And so that's where Soulfully You comes from. Being so in tune with your soul that you couldn't be anyone else but you. And so that modality just started coming. I started gaining more experience on how to connect to my own soul so I can help other people to do the same. So I do a lot of, in my energy healing, I do a lot of practice with visualization, a lot of meditating, a lot of breath work, a lot of exploring your own inner self. Because truly, our spirits know every single answer. We just tune it out because the other voices are so loud that tell us what we should or shouldn't be. And I wanted to really silence those voices and help my clients find their way through it. So, energy healing is just a way to connect to your inner self and to your higher power, whoever that may be, and really combine the two together so that you're working as one being and not all of these separate beings. And it's a way for you to love yourself enough to say, I don't want to be this way. Or, you know what, even though I had trauma or abuse or pain or, you know, hurts in my life, I still want to be the best me possible. And so, what am I willing to let go of in my life that is causing that continued process of pain and hurt so that I can step into the person that I am? And that's what Soulfully You is all about.
I love that. That's such a great description of what you do. And I can tell the passion behind it when you say everything. So tell me, you said you got your degree in social work?
Yes.
So were you working in this before you started this company?
I was, yes. So I worked for a teen, oh my goodness, what is it called? Residential treatment center. And so I worked with teenagers, teen girls from the ages of 12 to 18, and I helped them learn life skills, how to manage their emotions, how to learn how to take care of themselves, whether it be through education or hygiene, and just gain those skills that we all need as an adult, but they weren't receiving that through their own life situations that they were going through at home.
You know what? That's crazy. I wouldn't think that we'd have this in common, but I did the same thing. I worked with teenagers. Technically, yes. So I worked with teenagers through a program called Youth Health Associates. Are you familiar with them as social workers? And so it was 12 from 18. I worked at a female home and a couple different male homes, and I did it for years. And I worked as a lead mentor and closely with their therapists, and we did similar types of things, but it was also a lot of retraining, how they thought and everything, as well as like life skills. So that's so interesting.
Yes, I
mm-hmm. And so did you work at this job all the way up until you started Foster Vitality? And my big question is, making the final leap from working for somebody else into working fully for yourself, was there some transitionary period, and like how did that look like? What did that look like for you?
Yes, yeah, there was a transition period. So when I stopped working, I was continuing my education, and so I was just doing my internship. And so I went from my internship to motherhood for a couple months because I wasn't sure where I was going to end up. And then that's when that healing time started for me. And so for me, the transition was more from just being a mom and then moving into entrepreneurship. And that was still a pretty intense leap because remember, there's safety in working for someone else. I mean, they take all the brunt of everything and the responsibility. The hardest thing for me was saying, can I do this? You know, am I smart enough to be able to start my own business and to be able to grow it?
That's so great. So I've actually talked with a lot of mothers who do their own business.
Yeah.
And they said that it's really great to work for yourself and be able to raise your children, because you kind of get to create your own schedule and make sure that you can be there for them and their needs. And this is a little bit of a segue, but just because it's so relevant to a lot, so like probably half of the women that I've talked to that own businesses and that are listening, tell us about that, juggling being a mother and business owner.
Oh my goodness, so this is a huge one. So yeah, I was the same way, and I still to this day, I work my clients around my kids' schedule because my family is important to me, and I want to show up for those big family functions and be a part of that. But my business is also like, they're tied, right? Like it's so hard to be able to be like, oh, my family's most important, my business is most important. For me, it's like they're tied because I love both of them equally, and I could never choose between either of them. And the hardest thing is feeling like you have to take on all the work yourself, especially when you're first starting out. You don't have all the income to outsource right away. And so you're taking on the pressures of being mom. Okay, so what does mom do? Mom does the cooking, mom does the cleaning, mom does the child raising, mom does the playing. But then mom's also a business owner. So mom's got to find time to blog, post on Facebook, do her client work, do her accounting work, and take care of everything that a business requires, all while the family is going on beside her. And the biggest thing that has helped me out this year, and even last year, was recognizing that I didn't have to do it all alone. That just because I'm a company and I'm a one-person show doesn't mean that I have to be a one-person show. I was choosing into that because I didn't know how to outsource. I didn't know how to let go of that control and let other people help me. And now I've hired 2 other people to start taking and utilizing parts of my business that I don't need to anymore. And now I can have more time to be at home with my family.
That's so good. I mean, delegation's huge. You cannot wear all of the hats all the time, but that's often what it looks like when you start a business. I mean, that's always what it looks like when you start a business, unless you have a business partner. But, yes. But there's definitely the time that you can start outsourcing and delegating, and a number of other interviews have talked about that as well. But All right, so specifically, we want to ask you because you have a different type of sales marketing and funneling. It's called social networking, and a lot of businesses function this way. And this may or may not be right for different business models, but tell us a little bit about how you get clients.
So yes, mine is all about the social aspect of it, especially where I'm in the healing field. People need to know that they can trust me and or my business partners right now that as I'm growing and doing that, they need to be able to trust what we are doing and that we're not just gonna go and share every little single personal detail that they've shared with us with everyone else around them. And so my business model, it first starts out with connecting with people, right? So that usually starts over social media, whether it be through Instagram or Facebook, and people reading the posts that I create and then commenting on it, and then me commenting on the things that they're doing as well in their life. They get to know me as Talesha Carter first, and then they get to know my business, Foster Vitality. And because they know me and see what I'm doing, they trust what I'm doing in my company and how I'm running it. And they know that they can trust that I can help them based off of the content that I'm creating. And so we start to build that relationship. And then once we have that relationship built up, then they want to know more about what I'm doing. They start asking me, oh, so how can I help my son who's struggling in school? Or how can I manage my own anxiety when I go to Walmart or Target or, those busy places? And so I can start recommending things that they can do. So I give them tips and resources. Never do I just automatically say, here's my program, here's my offer, jump right into it. Mm-hmm. They get to learn and practice it and see that it's helping them at that free level. And then from there, people see, oh, she's giving me value. She really knows her stuff. She cares about me. And then from there, when that relationship has built up, that we have that trust there, they know that I can provide value for them. Then they're more likely to buy the things that I offer, whether it be my courses or the events that I speak at or my own individual one-on-one sessions. They have that trust with me and they want to follow and be along and a part of my company mission.
I love that so much. I think I've heard so much about that in specifically email marketing. And one of the valuable things that I was told to do was start being the face, having a face for my company and being okay with that being my face. Because I think a lot of people get intimidated by that. They just want to sit behind their business. But people are so much less likely to take interest in something that's a business entity and not a person. So I stepped out of my comfort zone and started almost marketing myself through my social media as, somebody to maybe want to be invested in or taken seriously, who knows what they're talking about as far as the health and fitness realm. So I think that's really awesome, especially as far as the free content is concerned, because it builds that trust level. And you and I both do a couple things that are similar in order to build trust. Can you tell me what the free resources are that you offer when you do this funnel engagement with your potential clients?
Yeah. So the biggest thing I offer is my Facebook platform. And so I have a free group in there, and every single Tuesday I do an energy healing minute. And so I teach an energy technique that anyone can do in 1 minute. And so then there's no excuses that they can't feel better, because it literally will only take them 1 minute. And through that content as well, I'm sharing tips and resources with them, places that they can go and learn about other energy techniques or skills that they can have, or anything dealing with energy and personal relationships and growth, you're going to find in that free Facebook group. I also have my blog, which also offers lots of amazing free content, where I offer meditations for free, and I offer little trainings and audios that they can just go and jump right on the bandwagon and into their healing rather than having to wait to have a one-on-one session with me.
So I do want to ask you this, because a lot of the things that you're saying, I'm wondering, do you have a business mentor, or do you listen to anything? Because I have been listening to, oh my goodness, I just spaced her name, The Gold Digger podcast. Have you ever listened to that?
Yes.
It's Jenna Kircher from The Gold Digger, and I feel like a lot of what you're saying is very similar to that.
Yeah, so I have listened to her podcast, And I have hired business mentors from, I think, the second year of my business. I really realized, okay, this is going to be my legit business. I need help in ways that I don't even know. Like, I didn't know what a funnel was. I didn't know how to market. I was just like randomly posting like, hey, I have an opening today. Who wants to come in and have a session? Like, so anyway, all the newbie stuff. And yes, so I have hired business mentors, and I continue to do so, and find the ones that resonate with me and want to help me grow, and not just ones that are about making the big bucks or anything like that. I take a lot of time and dedication to find the mentors who are in alignment with where I'm going in my company.
That's such a great thing of advice. So if you guys hear that, there is no shame or humility in seeking out help from other people or wisdom from other people who've been doing it longer. I myself, this is one of the reasons why I do the interviews. I love giving people business advice based off of my experience. I love helping other women. I hope that everybody listening to these gets the assistance and motivation and also like good content and help that they want for themselves. But yeah, I do love, it's called the Goal Digger Podcast. And that's Goal, G-O-A-L, not gold, the Goal Digger Podcast by Jenna Kircher. And she offers such great business advice and marketing strategies. So yeah, no shame in no shame in talking to people who have been in the business longer than you.
Yep, absolutely.
So if you had one piece of advice from your experience to leave women with today, what would it be?
Yes, continue on your growth. Never stop growing and learning. Keep having those business mentors. Read books. Listen to podcasts. Get involved with other business women. Do not be afraid to network and market and share what you do with other women. And so if you are a content creator and you build courses or you share information on Facebook, collaborate with other women who are doing the same thing. And don't be afraid to share audience, and don't be afraid to share techniques and skills. Like, that's the number one thing that has really helped my business to grow, is to say, hey, I need help. I'm not sure what I'm doing here on this, and work with other women who do, because it's a win-win for both of us. And then when you start to see that growth and you start to see that income come in, always realign yourself and get back to your soul truth. Because there's going to be a lot of advice out there about how to grow your company, how to make your millions. And you could do all the shady sales things that are out there. But if you're a business who wants to help people and you have a product that you want to help people with, stay away from those sleazy, salesy things and do what is in alignment with your soul and your higher power, because that's what's going to give you the best growth, because it's going to be organic and people are going to have that vibration connected to it. Because if you do those like salesy, scammy things, people are going to have that vibration, and you want to stay away from that. You want to be connected to your soul truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Authenticity for sure. And
yes,
making sure that everything that you're doing with your business aligns with your original self and business model. For sure. You don't want to go off track that. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, I wanted to talk about specifically one thing that you are incorporating into your business. And we are both saying, I'm saying that I just started doing this as well. We want to talk about blogging. And I want you to tell us a little bit about when you started doing it, what and why, and what that is doing for you in building with your clients and your branding.
Right. I started blogging about 3 years ago when my company was really starting to gain traction and growing. And I wanted to have a source where people could find me online, not just on Facebook, because again, I'm a real business. I don't want to just be on Facebook. And so a website is the way to go for that. And the way to gain traction on your website is to have a blog so that people can find you through Google searching and everything. And so my blog started out very simple. It was a Motivation Monday. I sent out a motivational content each and every Monday and challenged my readers to do something with it. And then they could also sign up for my newsletter, where they would get other free content throughout the month or the week, whatever it was I felt inspired to do. My readers could have that opportunity. And then I got really bored of it and sick of it, because I don't like blogging. It was a stress for me and overwhelming for me, and so it kind of just faded out. from there. And then the end of last year, I really felt prompted to pick up my blog again and to not just have it be a source of me taking all the content and creating it. This is where that outsourcing started to come from, and collaborating with other women. And I started looking at what other businesses were doing, and it was in the blogging. And so I developed the platform for my blog and the schedule that I kind of wanted to do with it and how I wanted to target my market and really start building up the community of women, because my audience is all women who are striving to fulfill what is missing in their life. They either don't feel happy or they don't feel like they are loved, whatever it is. And so I'm trying to fill in that gap for them. And so the blogging came in there. And so my thing that I'm working on right now is I'm blogging 3 times a week. And this helps to show my Google Analytics that, hey, she's consistent. You know, she's constantly putting out new content. And so that's going to build more of my SEO. And then I'm creating content as well for what my readers or potential clients need to hear, that information that's there. And so, like I said, I blog about several different topics, and I just created a schedule for that so that I could help connect with different women and different struggles, because just because I have my niche doesn't mean that I can't help other people. And by blogging, I'm able to reach other niches and build that SEO so that people are more likely to find Foster Vitality on a Google search through one of the blogs that I'm writing.
All right, so I want to expand on that. For the people listening who don't know, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And what she's talking about as far as improving that is that you get so many words or phrases that people would say Google, and you get them associated with each of your pages on your website. And there's a limit per page, per content. And when you add a blog, it's like adding a whole other page where you get a whole other set of words where people can Google and find you. So it's really important to know, as far as like optimization, you want to know what people are searching a lot. And there's actually ways and programs that you can find out which words that you're associating with each of your blogs are the ones that are connecting them to you the most. And that's really great because you can keep those and then you can try out other phrases. But what's really important is that people Googling find you. And so the more content you have, the more likely it is that people Googling are going to find you. And it's not just putting up the things that are the most important, you know, the most searched words. It's the fact that the content on the other side of that is going to match what they're looking for. Because I mean, how annoying is it when you're searching for something and that you find one word somewhere and you can't even find it in their whole website? Like, where was this? And it's just like really irrelevant. So, I mean, a part of driving good traffic is that people are actually going to your page and staying on your page, and you'll go up in the ranks on Google searches, and so like you'll start to become more popular in that way. So that was one thing that an SEO specialist that I knew told me to do was blog. It's the best way to get more pages and more words for your SEO. So that's what SEO stands for. Talk to us about, you already said you're offering free content. How does the blogging run hand in hand with building their trust in you as a professional in energy healing, as well as offering that free content?
Yes, absolutely. So they get to see me as a person, right? They get to see my own journey and the things that I have personally learned through it, and that helps to build that trust there, right? Like, I'm not only sharing my own healing journey, I'm sharing my clients' healing journeys. I'm sharing other people's healing experiences, so they can start to see, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this struggle. I've been through that. I can relate to that. And this person is doing it. This person is growing, even though they have all of this pain and sorrow in there. And so by sharing those stories, by sharing who I am and what I'm all about, that helps build the trust. And then when I write other blog content that, like, let's say it's going to be about a course, and I start going through, okay, these are the problems that you may be facing. These are the challenges that you're going through. This is the solution to that problem. And then here's my offer. People are more likely to listen to it because they've seen the experience that I've been through. They know that I'm a credible source, and then they want that for themselves as well. And so through the free content, they're able to gain that trust and they can practice skills. And then when they hire me, they get all of my professional advice, and it's curved directly to them, and not just to the mass audience that I'm gaining, but more specifically for them, and that helps them grow a better connection and soul living life.
That's so great. I mean, I think that you do such a great job, like reaching out to people, and your business is so well like organized, and you clearly know what you're talking about. You've been such a great guest to come on here and speak, and I really hope that a lot of people listening to this have taken as much from it as I have, and tell people how they can reach you.
So the best way to reach me would be either through Facebook or Instagram. Those are the two platforms that I'm on the most, and that's just with @fostervitality. And you can also find me through my website, which is fostervitality.com. And through fostervitality.com, that's where you can fill out and get on my newsletter, and you can connect with me as well through the social media platforms. But to connect and see most of my content is going to be through Instagram or Facebook.
All right, thank you, Talesha. So finally, I've gotten to ask you a lot of questions. So this is the time where you can ask me something. So I don't know how much you know about what I do besides the day that we got to meet, but do you have a question for me?
Yes, I would just love to know, what is your daily drive? Like, how do you keep doing what you're doing? Because I know for me as a business owner, I've hit those roadblocks where it's like, oh my gosh, I could not do this for another minute. And then like you wake up the next day and you're like, okay, just kidding self. Like, I really want to keep doing this. And so I love to hear other women's and other business owner women stories about how they keep going even when that opposition hits, and what motivates them to move through that.
That's a unique question. I'm glad that you brought it up, because people think that once people are all in on their business, they think that there aren't really a lot of hiccups, and that there's this constant like everything's great, and like, but really that's what you see as like the follower or the consumer. But I can't even tell you how many times I've been like, that's it, I'm done. Like, I'm leaving, I want a regular job, like I want to make sure that no matter what, if I show up, I'm making money, like I want, because that's a big thing with business, is that showing up doesn't mean that you're making money. You have to show up no matter what, and sometimes it's not profitable, and you don't have this guaranteed income, because at any point, everything could fall through. So there's that. There's so many times where you're like, I'm not doing this the best way. I don't have the energy to put in the effort to change everything, to go back and fix everything. But yeah, like, oh gosh, probably hundreds of times. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I'm throwing in the towel for sure. And a lot of that is probably maturity as an entrepreneur, is to like not take an action on anything immediately.
Yeah.
So definitely like thinking about positives and the negatives, sleeping on everything. I sleep on everything. Like, yeah. I won't even talk to an employee or a person or a thing if I haven't slept on it and been like, yes, this is a big deal. Yes, this needs to be addressed. Or yes, action needs to be taken on this. Because you don't want to run your business emotionally.
Yeah.
You want to always make sure you're in a place where things were well stewed on, and like and you thought of the consequences, and you thought of, is this really what's going to make me happy? Especially if maybe it's time to throw in the towel. I don't know, I would say like you want to be thinking that consistently for a very long period of time before you ever actually start taking action on it, and thinking of that. So what keeps me going, I think, is just knowing that there are seasons for everything as a business owner, and that generally things can turn really quickly. And your feelings of things can turn really quickly. And so allowing yourself to be in any space that you're in, but then giving it time to resonate, and like know if that, like oftentimes, like I feel great about business. I feel like on top of the world. I feel amazing like 2 days after, an episode of thinking that everything is over. So definitely giving yourself the time for that, and knowing that it is a roller coaster sometimes, and being the type of person that can, go for the ride, and I don't know, I guess be okay when there's downs and be okay when there's ups.
I love that. And, I think I've seen a lot of that too in my own self. Like, you have to have that grit as a business owner. And I think too, as a woman business owner, because there's so many other opportunities that can come to you, and you just have to be able to be like, this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I'm going to stick it through. And I love how you brought that up, because there's seasons of growth and there's seasons of stagnancy, and you feel like, am I even making a difference? But I love that you continue to show up and that you're doing that in your own business. And I know that you're making a huge difference just by doing that, and being able to have that business maturity where you don't just make those rash decisions, because people rely upon you. And it's not, when you start a company or a business, it's not just about you anymore. It's about who you're helping, whether it be through your clients or your employees. And so I love that you brought that up in there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think so much about, it's like being a mom. Like you said, your business is just important. I feel like a little bit of like being a mother, like with, as far as like my employees are concerned, like, are they taken care of? And then my clients, are they taken care of? And both of them I will put before myself. So yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on with me today. And I'm super excited to do your feature and get to know you more and see how your business grows.
Yes, thank you for having me today, and I look forward to more connection with you and just sharing all the amazing skills that we both have.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and send me the information on the Miss Entrepreneur pageants. I would love to at least get, if can't do it, get some people that I know participating in that this year. That's so fun.
Yes, absolutely. I will send it over to you.
All right, have a great Sunday.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.